word. I thought, this is strange, and then afterwards that strange sensation continued. Then in that moment I realized that was impost, so I thought, look at this losers, don't know how to put me down, and they are doing this. So I told them that I know what you are trying to do, and I started laughing, and then I said again out loud, you'll never take my will, ass, so just to show them that I meant what I said, I kept playing with my dog, and even though that attacks continue, I don't let them get me. Today they continue with the programming of perversion, but this time they are aiming in the use of people, better said young people, also children and homosexuals. When I aggravated them I usually called demeaning names, and one of them is referring to homosexuals. For me all of the slaves are misfits, society haters, scumbags etc. No, I don't have anything personal against them, homosexuals, but as my way to aggravated the slaves, and since they love to use children for the torture and stalking, street theater etc. Especially teenagers for the stalking at close range with an attitude, they are using them during my sleep in the perversion program, and so you can imagine what the slaves of torture are pretending to do to me. In the last days, as today September 9th, 07, anything I do, either watching TV or reading of whatever I'm doing, they brush me sort of say, I feel like I'm aroused all day and I feel the palpitations in my genitals, for what I'm thinking, and since the attack comes so quickly, I realized my programming has been set on auto, in their central computers, no handlers could do something like this that quick. What make me realized, the slaves are desperate to get me. Unfortunately for them they are facing a strong wall where no matter how much their computers EAP me, I know I'm not changing. As I said, I feel like they've been set up a being where I feel constantly stimulated, I'm talking sexually, like a heat in my genitalia.
Any part of the body. This technology can be used to sexually manipulate the target. It can make the target feel sexual arousal, or it can sort of turn off the
It is dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophilia. Like, this disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is.
You want to go to the restroom. Like they can make you want to go and poop. They can go make you want to do that and stop the feeling of going to poop. They can make you want to go to the restroom, pee. They can make you feel hungry. They can all of this weird, like they can do all these things. And so they can play with your libido. Make you feel like stimulations. Like crank up your stimulations. Make you feel arousals. And aim those arousals to whatever they want. It's so nasty. So they do that so much with me that, you've tried to figure how can I get rid of my arousals, my libido. And the truth is, I watch adult content and try to find release, but I hate doing that because one, I don't think it's healthy, but two, while I'm doing that, what they do, they implant children in my head during that time, like while choose the time when I'm about to climax to put that. You understand how nasty these bottom feeders are, but that's what they are contracted to do. And then but I don't want to do that. They make me think I should do that. I was like, I don't want to. Like, I know it's you guys gonna ruin it. You're not even gonna ruin. You're gonna make it disturbing with implanting children in my head. It's so nasty. So I'm like, whatever. But they try to create these thoughts. And I pressed the story of this. Okay. You just saw a few videos before that. Before seeing me. So the first video is a testimony of a woman who, just like me, is a target individual. You've heard her before talk. Her testimonial shows that they do this thing where They play with arousals, forcing her to get stimulations all the time to make her feel uncomfortable, and they aim those stimulation toward children. It's nasty. And it's something that I also experienced. You've heard that testimony again. And you're going to continue to see you hear that. Then you hear about a target individual describing what this technology is capable of doing. They can manipulate your sexual arousals. They can make you have sexual arousals. And then you hear a transgender woman who's talking about how, and I don't think she's no longer alive, talks about how she was forced to think in this, having this pedophilia thoughts, or try to create some thoughts of pedophilia. And lastly, you hear my video I made yesterday, literally yesterday morning, same time, saying that they do this thing, right? For me, they have done this sexual arousal so much. It is so nasty. Like, they like to play my libido through, for the last 2 weeks, or actually every day they do that. They do this sexual arousals to the point where I need to release myself, because they've been cranking up my libido over and over and over and over. And they do this when they aim it toward children. They make me have stimulations. And so my libido is cranked up, and they aim those stimulation toward children. It is disturbing. But at the same time, because they crank up my arousal, my stimulation so much, I need to find a way to release myself. I need to. Because if I don't, they're going to continue build on it. And unfortunately, I need to watch adult content to release myself. Right? My brain, they're having these battles of all kind of retardation. And so I need to watch the adult content in order to get that release, because they're going to continuously build this stimulation. The libido is going to keep being boosted and increased, and then they start aiming towards children, and it's even worse. So, like I said, watching adult content is what's needed sometimes to release myself. I don't like to do that, as I said. It just makes me feel ugh. And at the same time, while I'm doing it, they have this tendency. In the past, they've done things where, while I just climax, or while I'm watching adult content, they implant children in my head to condition me this way. It's so nasty. So last night was the same thing. It was another moment, like throughout the day, they was just stimulating me, playing my libido over and over and over and over, cranking it up. It was getting to that point where I need to do something. I was like, I've been trying not to in case just need to because I didn't want to be disturbed, but I was like, I need to at this point. It's getting to that point where it's too much. But every time I was thinking about doing it, they would try to make me think of a child. So so disturbing, and I'll talk about it. There is a coworker of mine who has pictures of his child. Actually, if you saw the last video I made yesterday about a father and his daughter, and this man died because he was a victim of this mass shooting, where this TI ended up killing 18 people. And the thing is, they were doing the same thing where they were saying things that are derogative. They were calling him a pedophile. He lost his mind and ended up going and shooting 18 people. And one of those victims, one of many victims, was just a father who had with his father, this man who was a father of a 9-year-old. And there was a picture that, to give respect to this victim, is a father with his daughter on his shoulder. And I used that picture in that video because in the video you see in the past, because there's a coworker of mine who have a similar picture, And they've done this program. Every time I see the picture of this coworker with this kid on his shoulder, they have been doing this disturbing stimulation, and he has like two versions of it. The first one, I've made a video a while ago. I can bring it back again somewhere. When this girl is like a little girl, and she's maybe 3-4 years old. I think maybe between 3 and 5, right, around that age. And then there's a new version of her when she's like 7, 9 or something like that. So you see like the the different pictures. When she was 3 to 5 year old, they would go give me stimulations, and they were like, "Oh, we mapped it to you when you were a kid. That's the real stuff. This is real. The when she's 9, whatever is fake." They were saying that yesterday. So like they say, like sometimes we give you the fake pedophilia thing, but this is the real pedophilia. That's you. That we mapped it to you when you were a kid, right? It's the stupidity of the way they try to make you think is just. So they're basically admitting, no, we do the pedophilia type of torture, but this is the real things. This is real. We mapped that. That is you when you were a kid. Stupid. It's the things they do. And they would try to have this argument back and forth in my brain. It's just like, no, you do the pedophilia type of torture. I would see this for the wholesome thing that it is. You're not mapping me when it's me when I was a child. You're trying to make me think that this experience is something I experienced when I was a child. I understand. And even that alone, it shows how the illogicalness of everything else. But they were trying to get this argument in my brain and also make me think of watching adult content. And I was like, at this point, I need to. Because they keep cranking up my libido. But they keep bringing this kid in my head. And I was like, oh, man, I don't know. Like, they keep bringing this kid. I don't want them to mix these things together. So I kept trying to, like thinking. But it was getting so bad. Like, I was getting hot in my brain. Literally, like I was getting a fever of some kind. And it's like, oh, I'm going to have to watch adult content, and it's gonna have to happen. And matter of fact, while I was going through like Netflix, there was like a video of a movie where there's like this little girl, and there's like, and at that point actually, weirdly enough, they didn't stimulate me. I was like, okay, well, I can, okay, whatever. I was like, thank God they didn't stimulate me. Now they're stimulating me and bringing my memories in different ways. But there was this like movie with this kid in it. So I scrolled fast. I was like, okay, I don't want to watch, I don't want to see that, because they're going to find ways to cross these things together with this little baby girl. And but they didn't do that at the time, right? Do you understand the mind games these people play? I was like, you know what, at this point, but they keep making me think of this kid with the father and shoulder and on his shoulder. They keep doing that. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have to find a way to do it. I have to. It's getting too much. They're playing my libido to that point. Let me go watch adult content. And that's what I ended up doing. I ended up watching adult content, and I released myself. And that was that. And the reason why you're hearing this noise campaign is because, as I've said, that they make me imagine thinking about the little girl. But usually they have done that before. Well, while I'm watching adult content and releasing myself, in my climax, they can make me imagine children. And I literally have banged my head on the wall to stop that. Right? And so after that, they're like, oh, you see, you watch this adult content because you were seeing little kids all along that make you. It's like, no, it's because you play with my libido. Like I said yesterday in the last video that you see. Same thing. And I think I said that in the video before that too. I think I said that in the last 2 videos. Back to back. Literally saying that they've been playing my libido. I need to watch adult content. Well, I'm thinking about watching adult to release because they're playing my libido. It's getting too much. So the only thing to do is to release myself, and obviously I'm gonna go watch adult content and release myself. But I don't really want to do that because, one, I don't like how it makes me feel. Even normally I don't like watching adult content stuff. I don't think it's healthy. But on top of that, they also kind of mess with me and make me think of children while I'm climaxing to mess with me. And then they're like, oh, you're gonna get raped, you're gonna do this and that, and this is gonna happen, and this is like trash. I'd rather get raped and tortured. These people live life, try to condition your brain in these disturbing pedophilia ways. They do these things systematically, and there is an obvious pattern of these pedophilia things they do. The pattern have been shown, have been seen. You just heard this person saying the same thing. The stimulation aimed toward children. And then this man who ended up killing 18 people because they were in his brain telling him that you're a pedophile, and he lost it. And 18 people died, including a child, by the way. A father a father and his son died there. These are the trash this government uses. This government itself do these things and try to play with our brain to disturb us. These trash are nasty losers. And you should see who's talking to me. Just nobody. You see that first video? That's the kind of people. In their little like PJs, bottoms and all. This try to push you to insanity. Cowards. And tell me I'm gonna be framed, they're gonna do this and that, they're gonna do. And it's like trash. They are low life nasty shits. God, thank you. I didn't have to live the life they live. They have blood of women, children, men on their hands. They are the nastiest and the cowards. And I pray they continue to live this dirty, nasty life. For me, I have no problem describing what they've done to me. Trying to counter the reality of what they're part of. Disturbing people like this. They are nasty. The way they've been playing my libido throughout every day. I've been talking about it every day because that's the things they do. They play with your sexual arousals. They can make you have stimulation non-stop. It's disturbing. All kind. And sometimes what they've been doing too, throughout this week and last week, and actually I've talked about it so many times, they will make me think of like me having sex with a woman, an experience I had, and then stimulate me, and then stop and make me think of a child. They've done it often, just to train my brain. I was like, this is so nasty. I was like, and what it does is like they keep messing with you get aroused over and over. It's so nasty. You get this arousal that they force you to have, and it keeps growing, and it gets worse because then they use this arousal again to use it to aim it toward children, make me think of a child, and then stimulate or look at a child, force me to get stimulation. It's so disturbing. And it feels so forced too. It feels like a fake, like somebody's just turning on a button, boop, and you turn stimulation and turn it off. Whenever it's even if like it's just non-stop. So they do these nasty things. They do this pedophilia type of torture, and you find ways to cope with this. They play with your arousals, your sexual arousals, and you find ways to cope with this. You know, if there's something I could take to completely finish up to not have any libido, I will take at this point. Listen, I don't want to never, like, I'm somebody who enjoy having sex, who enjoys sex, right? Like any man. But because the way they have manipulated and conditioned, rewired my brain in these disturbing ways, I would easily take something that will never make me have libido, because the way they've been manipulating my libido and aimed that toward children has been so disturbing and so nasty. And this trash wants you to be subscriptive of these things. When you just heard the testimony of a woman who literally said the same thing. And literally, do you think I've read these testimonies? This woman said that in 2007. That they forced me to get these sexual arousals. And this program perversion sometimes is aimed toward children. And for me, they're like, oh, immediately when that happens, to boxing, these manipulations. It's like, oh, they're horny, they're gonna do this and that. They're gonna, it's like, listen, whatever's gonna happen, please understand that the little fantasy you've created was never subscribed to. That's why I make the same videos over and over. This is a video I talked about. This is a video I made yesterday. I just took a snippet of yesterday's video and put it here. So when we see each other, would I not look at you forcing people to get sexual arousals and aim those toward children? Nasty low life. And my brain like, but what you did when you were a kid? When I was a kid, you know, yesterday there was this guy, because I did something stupid when I was a child. I was just turned 14 years old, a kid, middle school, just starting 8th grade. When I was a kid, I did something to myself, right? Something stupid as a child. And an impulsive moment of a child, which is what a child is capable of doing. And so, by the fact, yesterday somebody was saying something about middle school literacy, because he was trying to make it seem like a middle schooler are like scholars. Like, they're kids. Somebody who just turned 14 years old is a kid. He still has a mentality of a child. Some, of course, are more developed than others, but most of us, when we were like just turning 14, we're children for sure. And I was one of them. But so they try to say, no, but remember what you did as a child. No, when I was a child, I wasn't getting the stimulation, the arousal. Like, nah, this was the stupid thing. It was impulsive. You guys, what you guys do, you force me to get sexual arousals. You make me have stimulations, which now they say, oh no, we mapped it to you when you were a kid. No, you are making me experience that now. And try to pretend or make it seem like you mapped it to me when I was a kid, and still is retarded. Right? Imagine I'm telling you, a 30-some-year-old man, it's like, no, we make you think the way you think when you were a kid. Oh, you changed, huh? This is the people involved in this program. That's how stupid they want you to be. You saw is the people, the kid-like people with the first video you saw. Those are some neighbor look. That's the kind of people. So they play with your libido in these disturbing ways, and you cannot just what can you do dealing with this cranked up libido 24/7? At one point, you're gonna have to let that go. You're gonna have to make sure that you release, because the way they continuously force you to get arousals is just disturbing. And then once you do that, oh my gosh, right now what they're doing, they're thankfully at the time. Let me just say this again. Yesterday when I realized they didn't do the thing where at the last minute they implant children. They tried to do a little bit, but it was not bad. Because what they like to do is, like, as I'm releasing, they like to put children in my head or give me a weird feeling that made me have before when they were aiming toward children, and I was like, oh, it's so disgusting. This time yesterday they didn't really do that. They kind of tried to and stopped. But now what's happening is, when they're making me think of what yesterday, they're now giving me they're changing my memories and make me experience it as if they make me think of this little girl while I was releasing. Right? Which is, I don't know, that's the things they can do in my brain. And give me sensation and stimulation, saying that's the things you used to feel like. You may remember, we mapped it to you when you were a kid. You heard what I just said. They want you to be accepting of this. These are the people who are being humiliated by reality. You just heard one of the largest mass shooting in the United States, the top 10 ever, come from a target individual who literally say, these people are calling me a pedophile. You heard this woman talk about how they do this program perversion aiming toward children. You heard this trans woman literally say they're making you think this way. The validations of how much and what they do, and the pedophilia type of torture, it is, You cannot escape. But on top of that, what they do is obvious. Watch all of the videos. It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. The snippet that you just saw, that's from yesterday. Does it sound familiar? But yesterday I was like, okay, I'm not, but last time it was just too much. I was like, okay, I'm going to have to do it. Do you understand? So for me, when they tell me, oh, he's off, he's going to rape you, he's going to torture you, it's like, I'm talking to people who are pedophiles. They've been trying to make me accept this manipulation as if this is something that makes sense. As if I don't obviously know that they forced me to get stimulation toward children. If I look at a child again, they're going to crank on my stimulation, my libido. Imagine if that just like, if I need to lower these things. But that is what I'm going to experience 24/7. I remember this neighbor, not even this coworker, sorry. He said something like that. He was talking about his daughter. Just talking. They started stimulating me. And he loved talking about his child. This perp started stimulating me because he was talking about his baby. His daughter. And then gave me a nasty stimulation. Now I can hear this guy, oh, go jerk off. This man, he knows what I just heard before. They can manipulate your sexual arousal. It's obvious. This nasty trash. Because they do play with your libido. They do force you to get stimulations. And when it's done over and over and over, it's just too much. I don't want to go. I don't even want to go watch adult content. We all know this negative aspect, like watching adult content. As in my head, I try to change it to something else. And I don't want to go watch adult content. Watching a man or woman doing adult things. I don't want to do that. It doesn't feel good. I feel kind of dirty after doing that. But at this point, it's just like, is that, or they're going to continuously do that, and it's going to get worse because your libido is already high, so they're going to continue pushing that libido. It's so disturbing. So, what can you do? And even when I'm having sex, by the way, with a woman, they do certain things. I was with a woman. One woman once was having sexual moment with a woman. We were together. She stopped what she did. And she looked at me and said, "Black girl." To make me think of a black little girl while we were having this sexual moment. Sometimes when I'm with a woman, they do other things. And I'm with a woman, they making me think of a child. And she did this thing where she started doing contractions of some sort. That's all they do. They're nasty bottom feeders. They'll try to make you accept this nastiness and condition you in these ways, and then try to make you be, no, but you remember you felt like that when you were a kid. Nah, then that's what you're making me feel today. And this is disturbing. But that's what you guys are gonna do. And now what they're doing is, after the sensation of having released this kind of like weird, vulnerable feeling you get, they're making me think of this little kid. Nasty. And then, to counter that, oh, they're gonna rape you. No, they're gonna drink your blood. You're gonna die. I'd rather die in all the horrible death than having to live the life that you live. Then die. To all my target individuals, stay strong. Do not, like I said, that man, I just gotta bring that up because it's just fresh. It was last week. You see all these nasty things, it's easy for you to lose it. Do not lose your mind and do these things. I want to bring that up because I want to forget about this. They want to move forward and forget about the fact that there was a man who ended up killing 18 people because trash like that have pushed him to do that. And he had enough. and ended up killing mostly innocent people, including a child. Well, these trash are here doing these nasty things. I pray they continue to live this dirty, nasty life. But the target individuals do not go there. Let this trash live this nasty life. That's what they deserve.